Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's.
Good evening, Commonwealth. Thank you for watching the KSPN Channel 2 News. I'm Bob Coldine. Straight ahead on this edition of the news, Governor Torres says he supports President Biden's vaccine mandate. Also tonight, we get your reaction to the CNMI attaining its goal of 80% fully vaccinated. And MVA's managing director speaks out on the travel bubble. In sports, hundreds of runners of all ages turn out for the Gecko 5000. Stay with us. We'll have these stories and more next.
Good morning, Kiko. I am here at Docomo Wallerai branch. The Docomo staff here are super helpful with my appointment. They take good care of me in just a few minutes. Thank you so much for helping me out downloading and using the Skip Lino app. I can take care of all my Docomo needs. No need to wait in line with the Skip Lino app. We love you, Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Labor Day, a time to celebrate and pay tribute to the contributions of each and every working individual in the CNMI and nationwide. Stay safe this Labor Day weekend. Don't drink and drive, and always designate a sober driver. Drink responsibly so we can celebrate you once more at next year's Labor Day picnic. Happy Labor Day, CNMI. We appreciate your service. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the CNMI Department of Public Safety.
And there you have it, McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. From the makers of the world's most stolen fries. The juicy chicken sandwich from the place that offers extra napkins for a reason. The tender chicken sandwich from the creators of a sandwich phenomenon. So you won't just be biting into a chicken sandwich. You'll be biting into McDonald's new crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hafaday Tarawami and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Monday, September the 13th, 2021. President Biden has imposed stringent new vaccine rules on federal workers, large employers, and healthcare staff in an attempt to slow down the latest surge of COVID-19.
About 80 million Americans have not yet received shots. The Department of Labor is directed to require businesses with 100 or more employees to ensure their workers are tested weekly or vaccinated, and companies face thousands of dollars in fines per employee if they do not comply. A number of Republican governors have vowed to fight the mandate. Governor Torres is not one of them.
What do you think about President Biden's latest plan with the
mandatory vaccine?
Yeah.
I support it. I mean, I wrote a letter to PSS about a couple of weeks ago, encouraging PSS to continue pushing our students to get vaccinated, our staff, faculties. We're seeing it in Guam, we're seeing it around, that our students and our kids are getting spread through Delta variant, whether they're vaccinated or not. Makes it even harder and scarier because we have this sentiment and notion that once you're vaccinated, you're pretty much secured. But you're secured in a way that if you do get infected, that you won't be, that it will be a lot easier for you to go through the ordeal than if you're not vaccinated.
Regionally, United Airlines was already moving towards requiring vaccines for employees. Frank Atta of Triple J says it's unclear if the presidential mandate will apply to the territories. He says they are still waiting for guidance from the Department of Labor. Internally, he says Triple J urges and encourages their employees to get vaccinated, and those that don't are evaluated on a case-by-case basis. The Joe 10 group of companies began mandating vaccinations earlier this year. Employees that did not wish to comply were no longer allowed to work. Other large island employers said they were currently working internally on regulations.
Are you considering any further mandates locally?
Well, as a CEO and I have been talking about it, but again, our community has been so well. We've reached our 80%, our goal. I know my office, along with the Lieutenant Governor, our office, we put in $100,000 for Road to 80. That is to incentivize our community. So if you were vaccinated since December, I think, right? January, your name is already included into the draw of vaccination, the incentive program. So everybody has the opportunity to win something. So now that we reach 80, I know that we still want to, now we have a new goal to reach 90. But at the end of the day, we want to encourage all of our students. I mean, that's my biggest concern now. I think we've got a good number of population, our elders that actually been vaccinated. So it's our kids that I'm very concerned of, and those that deal with our students. Because this Delta variant is a very serious matter.
West Virginia, Alabama, Wyoming, Idaho, among the states with the lowest vaccination rates. CNMI, among the highest, reaching the 80% threshold. We hit the streets today for a reaction.
Last Friday, we reached the 80% vaccinated.
Well, it's good, and we congratulate those that took the vaccines. However, we have to encourage the younger ones to be vaccinated so they can be safer at the school sites.
I'm glad that those people that desire to be vaccinated can be vaccinated, and that's available. I understand why a number of people do not want to be vaccinated. Some medically cannot be vaccinated. And there's still some that feel that there still needs to be quite a bit more results before they feel safe in being vaccinated. I can understand all of those points of view, and they're all important. Every one of them is important.
Well, I'm really happy that we have reached the 80% herd immunity.
Yeah.
I feel really safe here in the CNMI, and I want to thank the COVID-19 Task Force, CHCC, and everyone else that is cooperating, making this happen.
I'm so happy that it's already 80%. I know we can do more and make it 100% fully vaccinated for the CNMI, so everybody can be safe and, have a healthy life.
I think that's a very good thing for the local community. It's very good for the folks that live here and people that might want to visit to know that the people take the vaccination seriously.
80%?
Yeah, we've reached 80% already last Friday.
I mean, it's good though, man. People now are getting vaccinated. It really shows that this pandemic is hurting us, I guess, because a lot of people are struggling with money. Even people with jobs at the same time, they're not getting the full hours. So it really sucks. This whole pandemic, I really hope it's really finished, because I just want everything to go back to normal, bro. And that's about it.
It's been over a year now, the pandemic. What's one experience you learned from living with this, good or bad? One experience that I learned, social distancing. Too much social distancing, yeah.
It's really an opportunity for me to kind of sit back, reflect, and figure out what in the world is happening in the world. So reflection has been a true lesson for me during the pandemic. Just trying to figure out, a lot of things that are happening.
The most important that I see is that respect. We should respect one another, whether you are for it or you're against it. And also we have to consider the ramifications of our public health with this pandemic.
Staying home is a good thing, because before this whole pandemic, I would always go out. But now this whole pandemic taught me, hey bro, it's better to stay home and be safe rather than being somewhere where you can be in trouble.
That a lot of people don't have cooperation spirit, to help make everybody safe, especially for the children, and that's sad.
What it's like to live in quarantine, spend a lot of time traveling and coming in quarantine. But I appreciate the CNMI really taking care of their people here and watching it carefully. I know it's an inconvenience, but we also have a very healthy record here as far as COVID infections, and I appreciate that very much. The government's done a great job, and I appreciate it.
There are 3 flights per week currently coming in from Korea. Tourists who have booked a package head to Kensington, part of a travel bubble and corridor program negotiated with the Korean government.
MVA's Managing Director Priscilla Jacopo says Eland's Kensington Hotel is now being used to house incoming tourists. Tourists stay there in a bubble of sorts for 5 days while they wait for clearance.
Kensington is closed to the public, and we have DPS stationed there as well, so that way there should anyone from the public go in, they'll be prohibited to do that, as well as if there's anybody from the travel bubble leaving the site, they won't be able to do that.
So tourists come in for 5 days, and they're able to move within the property of the Kensington.
Correct.
As part of that bubble.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So prior to arriving here in the CNMI, all of the tourists are required to get 72 hours actually negative PCR test before they board the plane, and then upon arrival they will be tested. And so once they are tested at the airport, they go straight to Kensington Hotel, and they remain in their rooms until their first day of their negative results comes out.
Okay.
Should anybody test positive at that time, they will move to the government quarantine facility site immediately.
So for the first 5 days, they can use the pool, they can use restaurants?
Yes.
Ocean?
Regarding the ocean, we have DPS there right now that's stationed there, and so we're working out the details.
Jacopo says that Kensington has received permission from CRM to cordon off part of the beach area so that tourists can use the ocean and remain separated from any local residents that are in the area during that initial 5-day period. Korean tourists are also able to play golf during those initial days.
So on the 5th day, if their results comes out and they are negative, so their tour operators would pick them up at Kensington, and then they would move to our corridor hotel, which is World Resort.
Okay, and then they stay there. Do they have to stay there in the corridor resort after their 5th day, or can they stay anywhere?
So they stay at Septembert Resort is because of how their packages was created and based on the package that they bought. Right now, we encourage everybody to go to Septembert Resort as it is a WTTC Safe Travel Program approved.
Okay. And what are we seeing as far as numbers? What's it look like?
Since the launch in July, we've actually had a slow bookings, and for many reasons. Usually it takes at least 30, even up to 90 days for travel agencies to create these packages and to sell them. And even at that time, we had changes to our travel entry requirements, right? And so more recently with the 5-day mandatory quarantine, regardless of vaccination status, we were anticipating that we would see a huge drop in tourists coming in. Actually, it's different. We've actually seen an increase. And with the Chuseok holiday coming up, I believe actually it's this week, which is like a Thanksgiving holiday for Koreans, we've seen a huge increase with bookings. We are expecting, as of today, we are expecting over 600 passengers for the month of September.
Okay. Are we seeing kids? Are we seeing families travel, or is it mostly what's the profile of people that are coming?
So mostly golfers or couples, but we've had families come in. We've actually seen a family with 3 children come in to the CNMI, and I believe they actually also went to the island of Tinian.
Okay.
Yeah.
And golfers, are they playing at Lau Lau or COP? Are they able to play at both?
So this time they're not able to play at Lau Lau, as Lau Lau is not part of the travel bubble corridor. It is actually Coral Ocean Resort, and they have gone through the protocols and the approval process from the task force. And so for all the tourists that's going to play golf during the 5-day quarantine, the golf course is also closed to the public at that time.
That was Chris Nelson reporting. Police have filed probable cause for the arrest of two men they say joined forces in a Garapan robbery. Police say 37-year-old Brandon Benavente and 29-year-old Vincent Pua were playing poker and talking about smoking ice just before they participated in a robbery of a Chinese woman last Wednesday night in Garapan. Police say Pua drove the car and Benavente jumped out with a cloth over his face and grabbed the woman's wallet. Both men were picked up by police after a witness noted their license plate number. All right, coming up, we've got some good food. Can't eat it, but you can see it. We'll have that story and more next.
Green sea turtles and hawksbill turtles call the Mariana Islands home. They are an important part of the marine ecosystem. They are under threat, and they are protected under CNMI law. Keep plastic out of the ocean. Keep vehicles off the beach. Use the Sea Turtle Stranding Hotline if you see poaching activities or if you see a turtle in trouble. Call 287-8537 and save a turtle. One of the best things you can do during the pandemic is to get yourself healthy and strong. Gold's Gym is a great place for a tune-up. Wide open workout spaces with dedicated cardio, free weights and machines, personal training, group exercise, and good nutrition. Short-term daytime promo on sale now, just $159 for 3 months. Call 233-4000.
Welcome back to the Monday edition of KSPN2 News. The local Japanese society held a lunch today at Aqua Resort, and you could say something was fishy about it.
Zen Tomikane, a chef at the Hyatt Hotel, exhibited his culinary talent today in a special demonstration inside Aqua Resort. The event was called Taste of Japan, and on display was washoku, a traditional Japanese food known for its nutritious and healthy qualities, as well as the spirit of respect towards nature and its resources. Sushi, tempura, and soba are examples. Tomikane dismantled this fish and explained parts of the process while the audience watched. He cut the different parts of the fish in different ways, taking care not to show any blood. Guests enjoyed 12 different kinds of Japanese food from restaurants around the island. About 250 people participated. Many in the Japanese society here are reliant on tourism. 2 years ago, in November of 2019, Skymark Airlines launched direct service from Tokyo, and it was reason for celebration. It marked the return of direct service to Saipan since the Delta pullout a year and a half before then. It was Skymark's first international route, and executives came here early on to study the market and prepare. After a successful launch, thousands of Japanese tourists began arriving each month, but the pandemic put the brakes on service, and there's no telling when it will resume. Japan currently has some of the most stringent entry requirements in the world, and returning residents need to quarantine for 2 weeks, which means almost no Japanese are traveling. CNMI once relied exclusively on Japanese tourists for arrivals, and while that has changed over the last 15 years, the hope is to once again encourage investment and rebuild the Japanese market. Hyatt currently has a Japanese owner, as does the Aqua Resort and Grand Rio. Other large Japanese companies include Tassi Tours, part of the JTB group. Kazuhiko Ono from the consulate office says he doesn't know when direct flights will come back, but that he does anticipate at least some relaxation in restrictions later this year.
In Japan, the vaccination, fully vaccinated people of Japan, the more than 50%, and the first dose of the vaccinated Japanese are more than 60%. So I hope not very soon, maybe October or November, some of the restriction or especially border restriction will reduce at that time.
Not everything works out the way it's planned. Tomas Mangalonia and the KUM News team brings us this report.
Half a day CNMI, here's what's making news on Guam. A local paramedic program promising national paramedic certification for graduates has lost its accreditation, leaving firefighters enrolled in it wondering, is it even worth it anymore? Here's more.
It seems so promising. Paramedics in paradise, with the governor touting the launch of her first ever paramedic training program for Guam.
School of EMS is the accredited paramedic program, and we're partnering with GCC to use the facilities and the equipment to do the hands-on training.
When I became governor, that was the first thing that I said to Dan, even when I interviewed him. What are your plans for bringing paramedics to our island?
The key takeaway from this paramedic program, upon successful completion of it, National Paramedic Certification for graduates.
It is a nationally accredited EMS program. When we graduate our people here, they are going to be at the same level as any other paramedics in the United States.
The paramedic program starting in May of 2020 with 36 Guam Fire Department firefighters.
It is a challenging course. It's not an easy course. The amount of time it takes on top of the COVID responses and how much they're working, they have to be commended for what they're doing.
It was smooth sailing until February of this year when GFD was notified that the accreditation for the School of EMS Guam Paramedic Program was being pulled. This means that local firefighters enrolled in the course will no longer be nationally certified paramedics when they graduate. Instead, they'll be allowed to take the national certification exam, but even if they pass, because Guam's paramedic program is no longer accredited, they won't be nationally certified. This has got program participants like firefighter Angel Ilagas fired up.
It is pretty depressing and disappointing that we're not going to get the badge of honor, but I mean, a lot of us are really upset about it. The students started getting bummed out, and we're kind of upset and depressed at the same time, but mainly upset.
Burrier, however, downplayed the national certification, which is granted by the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians upon completion of an accredited program.
Even without that gold patch, the education they're receiving is invaluable.
There are 24 firefighters left in the program, and while Burrier says enrollment dropped because of deployments and other commitments students had, Ilagas said many dropped out of the program because at the end of the day, without national certification, the program just wasn't worth it anymore. But Burrier said if the accreditation issues are solved, graduates of the program may be granted certification in a couple years. The situation has Burrier and the local Emergency Medical Services Board working on a solution.
The end game and what everybody's striving for is that we still get them licensed locally as paramedics.
It gets even more complicated. The AG's office says the law currently doesn't allow for the local licensing of paramedics, so Burrier said a committee formed by the EMS board is looking for a way forward.
We're looking at the proper pathways that we need to do, and we have a committee that is working on that law specifically. We're meeting every week. We're processing and comparing and looking at other laws in the states.
And while national paramedic certification for program participants seems to be up in smoke, Ilagas said quitting is not an option.
The most we can do is actually just drive on and finish the course. However, like you were mentioning, we don't get the NRT certification.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Burrier adds that any solution for local licensing of paramedics would have to be introduced and passed by the legislature and signed into law. Stay informed 24/7 by checking out KUM.com or downloading the KUM News app, available for iOS or Android. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tomas Mangalonia.
Thank you, Thomas. All right, coming up in the KSPN2 Sports Report, we say happy birthday to a regular here on the highlights.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
Enjoy September with our Smoothie of the Month, specially priced at $5.50. Blueberry meets mango, and the results are healthy and delicious. Bananas and strawberries are also joining the party along with cinnamon and granola. It's the Smoothie of the Month at Gold's Gym, specially priced at $5.50. Fast food that's good for you too. Gold's Gym, you're a fan.
I got my COVID vaccine. How about you?
আমার আছে কোভিড-19 টিকা আপনার আছে কি
ได้รับวัคซีนโควิด -19 แล้วนะคะแล้วคุณล่ะคะได้รับวัคซีนหรือยัง
Tapos na po ako magpa-COVID-19 vaccine. Kayo naman po. Tapos na rin ba?
I did it. I did it for you.
Do it. Do it for us. I did it for my friends. I did it for my family.
I did it for my daughter.
Let's do it together.
The Tan Su Lin Foundation promotes the culture of giving back. The foundation and its generous partners are committed to supporting programs that include health, education, and sports. Initiatives that promote arts and culture, the environment, and tourism will benefit our community and our residents. Giving back and making a difference will help ensure that the island paradise we call home will be a better place to live.
Tonight's sports brought to you in part by Tan Holdings through the Tan Su Lin Foundation, making communities a better place to live.
Buenas sports fans.
Buenas sports fans, run for your lives. Saturday morning was race day for over 300 runners. And runners to your mark. Get set now. Go, go, go.
Runners!
Hey, good morning.
Take your marks!
Welcome to the Gecko 5000, which doubles as the beginning of the PSS cross-country season. On Saturday, the run started at Last Command Post and finished at Bonsai Cliff. Race coordinator Ron Snyder from Northern Marianas Athletics.
Yeah, this year we thought we'd spread it around the island, and actually a lot of different people are hosting. So SIS is hosting this first event here in Marpi as a part of our fun run with the elementary, middle, and high divisions as well. Next week we'll be doing Run Saipan sponsoring in conjunction with the Intercoastal Cleanup in Ladder Beach, followed by NMA race at Airport Field, and then a Cagman High School sponsored event. Still not sure about the location, and then the championship at Saipan Vegas.
Just like recent softball and basketball tournaments, the turnout was greater than expected.
Tremendous amount of turnout here. Are you kind of surprised?
Well, I was expecting maybe 200, and I'm dreading 200. So when it got up to 337, my dread level went way up. But it seems to be going well, and I'm very happy with the turnout.
What'd you think of that, Millie?
Huh?
What'd you think of that?
Hey, this is fantastic. It's so nice to see you. We are so excited to have this amazing event.
It was a reunion of sorts for Saipan International School, which in the past sponsored the beginning of school year fun runs in Marpi.
And I see a lot of people from the community. Makes us even happier.
First place, Devin Bacani, leading MHS to first place among the boys. Rex Pixley with a mad sprint just edges Cody Shimizu for second. First female finisher out of the jungle, Caitlin Chavez, leading the SIS girls to the first place.
Oh, it was hot and yeah, there was a lot of rocks. My ankle almost twisted like twice. But yeah, it's a great run.
Her goal, simple, be the next cross-country high school champion. What's next for you?
Maybe try to get a faster run for the cross-country championship.
What's your goal in the cross-country?
Maybe to get first place for the women's.
All of us here in the local KSPN2 Sports Department of Excellence is wishing the big hit. Happy birthday.
You know, Bob, we're getting older. You know, today's my birthday. I'm 38 already. I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, wow. I wish I touched down US when I was like 20. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, everything happens for a reason.
Kelvin, the big hit Fidel, is back on Saipan. He has a 2-month wait period before he can fight again due to getting knocked out in his last fight in Kentucky.
Oh, I feel good, Bob. You know, like I said, when I got hit, it's an eye-opener for me, you know. Anything can happen down there in the States. It was just so overwhelming. The fight was overwhelming for me. And now I know how to get ready for the next one.
Kel is slimmer and trimmer, and he vows to continue that trend.
I'm going to be heavyweight and light heavy.
Light heavy?
Yeah, I'm dropping down to 205.
Oh, what are you now?
Right now, I'm maybe like 230, 225.
That's a lot of weight. How are you going to lose it?
You know, just eat healthy. And
you changed your diet?
Yes.
He may be 38, but he sees himself as a beginner.
It just started, Bob. It's just starting right now. You know, my first fight was like just to test out the water, you know. And now it is time. I've been fighting everywhere, and that's just how I started off first. Test out first the water.
One big difference, he's got a coach and a trainer now.
Here, remember, Bob, I train myself and I do everything by myself. Now I have a real trainer and real coach. So now I have to listen to them and, you know, get used to it.
What a long, strange trip it's been for the big hit.
This experience was an eye-opener for me because, you know, U.S. is just a different kind of breeding ground that you've seen amateurs. I mean amateurs. Here in Saipan, we don't have amateurs, you know?
Yeah.
So when you go to the States, there's amateurs, there's professionals. And they asked me, are you amateur? I said, no, I'm a professional. Have you ever tried to be fighter in amateur? I'm like, no, I never fought amateur. They're like, so everybody from Saipan are professional? I'm like, yes, they are professional.
Here's the windup and the pitch.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Buy one, get one free for the off-road adventure at Marianas Trekking. Come ride our side-by-sides at our best price ever and experience a great 90-minute trail ride. Rain or shine, hopefully rain. Book now at Marianas Trekking. Saturdays and Sundays by reservation. Call 323-8735 or book at marianastrekking.com.
All right, today's high temperature reached 90. The low dropped down to 80, I should say. Humidity 75%. Tomorrow, expect more of the same. It's going to rain here and there, and here and over there too. And we'll have the same temperatures as well. Seas are 3 to 5 feet. Sunrise at 5 past 6. There's a high tide in the morning, a low tide in the afternoon. Sunset at 6:19. We've been getting a spectacular sunsets thanks to this calm seas. All right, that does it for news, sports, and weather on this beautiful but warm and humid Monday. See you back here on Wednesday. Good night, Commonwealth.